and it was these heavily armored and suicidally courageous individuals who developed to dwell swiftest and deepest by the bloody light of red giants, their space-born their space-born particle excavators disassembled newborn stars from the inside out, then employed their fusion harvest to refine elements undreamt of, to fuel burgeoning industry. Kindred void ships sliced planets apart, then deployed external refinery rigs on mile-long umbilical to reap the molten harvest. Cosmic radiation and particulate belts that had been old when the war in heaven was fought were drawn into immense plasma conductors, or caught in atomic scopes, then transfigured into the materials of the kin required to survive. Yeah, sorry about my fridge turning on. One by one, the leagues formed, trade routes bridged void straits battered by searing stellar winds, or saw merchant crafts ply back and forth between the core's outer circumnuclear disk and the ominous dead zone that encircled its heart. More and greater holds were rised up, worlds where night never fell due to the sheer stellar density in the skies above. Life was hard, but the reward was plentiful. But the kin saw clearly the benefits of thriving in a location where competitor species could not. Thus, as the millennia passed, the Liege of Votann continued to focus upon setting the immense sprawl of the core and upon exploring its boundless riches. the eye of the ancestors. The kin are typically pragmatic in battle, to the point where their heroes seem almost dispassionate. This is because the calculus of risk to reward and resultant survival underpins their military strategies just as much as it does every other aspect of kin society. This is not to say the kin are not bellicose in war. Their solidarity are fond of bellowed oaths, grim gallows, humor, and booming war songs. Rather, their forces have been known to abandon valuable positions or break off from fierce engagements without a backward glance. Should the price of victory be judged too high, there is no cowardice or panic in such decisions, only the grim acceptance that spending lives and materials to achieve Pyrrhic victories is a trade only a fool would willingly enter into. Kin military doctrine emphasizes a leader's ability to claim assets, enemy threats, even in the midst of battle. Kin military leaders must remain stoic as they pass their gimlet gaze over the foe, determining which hostile pose the greatest threat, and thus merit prioritization, known as casting the eye of the ancient ancestors. This talent also allows kin war leaders to judge at a glance which enemies are the most dangerous, where enemy fortifications are weakest, and what amount of resources to apply to each threat to balance success against cost. There are those enemies, however, whose actions test kin patience beyond its limits, foes who repeatedly shame and insult the leagues, perpetuate great horrors upon the kin, or prove thorns in their sides time and again, maybe because the force of a grudge. In such case, the kin appear to lose perspective. They will not hesitate to spend countless lives and shocking quantities of materials in the destruction of a burgeoning, begrudged enemy, pursuing them relentlessly even into probable doom. Kin sometimes from grudge bands at such times swear blinding oaths to quest and fight together until their grudges is settled, or else someone who swore the oath is slain. To outsiders, this behavior seems anachronistic and extreme. A bizarre reversal of the doctrines that provide kin society. The kin themselves, however, the notion of grudges is as deep-rooted and natural as breathing. To their minds, the ancestors will judge harshly anyone who allows such nemesis to endure. Parallel and opportunity. This is not to say that the kin never venture into the wider galaxy. The boldest among them were driven to prospect beyond the core, or to establish trade with species other than their own. More than this, there is a prevailing belief with kin culture that in order to honor the ancestors, one must live a full life and discover and learn all that one can. This was reason enough to see countless kin explore and prospecting fleets. Commonly called prospects, see out into the wide galaxy. It also compelled bands of kin to leave their people and fight as mercenaries in the wars of other species, returning only when they had gathered knowledge and experience fit to offer the Votann. Between these expeditions and contact with alien races also able to endure the galactic core, the leagues of Votann were encountered all the galaxy's great powers in one context or another. Well, excuse me, I have this tickle in my throat. However, in many cases, these contacts were isolated, to a single fleet, conflict, or trade agreement, the kin remain close-mouthed around outsiders, seeing no reason to reveal the extent of their holdings in the galactic core, or risk revealing the existence of the Votann. Many people they came into contact with thus mistook a single kindred or legion for the entirety of some comparatively minor alien race. In imperial records, it is impossible to say how many Tyrrhenian nomad races, unclassified xenon trade fleets, or so-called abhuman enclaves have actually been kin, where they have been identified considerably. The kin are typically known to the Imperium by the rather pejorative term squats, and vary in their classification between abhuman and true xenos. Kin have been mistakenly known to Tau and humanity alike as the demiurge of the Aldari, as the Helios ancestor, and to various other people as the Gnostari, the Grom of the Craig, or Gnomes of the Craig, Nomistari, amongst others. The kin bear all this with a mixture of contempt and amusement. Their own oldest records do much to confirm a link between the ancestors and ancient pre-imperial Terra, but the kin, this only encourages greater care in their dealings with humanity. The leagues decided long ago that neither the good emperor nor the Omniscia were any duty of theirs. As such, they see anything that might offer the Imperium great claim to impose its will upon them as something to be avoided. Alongside exploration, trade, and prospecting, the kin have also fought countless wars. A disproportionate number of these campaigns have been waged against the orcs, who remain their most hated and frequent foe. The greenskins, crude but hardy civilizations flourish as well as the galactic core, as they do everything else. As they do everywhere else, while their ancestry anarchic, destructive nature is anathema to everything the kin value. It is a it is a combination that has seen mutual aggression rage between these two species. The kin have scarcely more time for the worshippers of the dark god, who they view with a mixture of disgust and bewilderment. They dislike the Necrons also, against whom they have fought numerous times, where their excavations dispute tomb complexes, or ancient dynasties return to reclaim worlds settled by the kin. The Tyranids, meanwhile, are known through the leagues of Votann simply as the Bane, and are afforded the wary respect one gives to exceptionally intelligent and dangerous predators. It has not prevented some kin from actively seeking Tyranid splinter fleets, striking at isolated hives ships in orbit to harvest their resource-rich bounty. Humanity has been the enemy of the League as often as their ally. Inquisitors and intolerant space marines are quick to name the kin as Xenos and demand their slaughter. The Adeptus Mechanicus, meanwhile, are viewed by the kin as superstitious tech shaman who acquire ignorance, whose acquisitive ignorance makes them dangerous, and who are to be swiftly eliminated where they cannot be avoided. With the Eldari, the Tau, and a number of other alien races, the kin have maintained cordial relations and achieve sporadic trade. Exceptions have still arisen, of course. The kin have little patience for the gruesome excesses of the Drakari, or that they see as the arrogance of the Azurmai, and of late have clashed around the fringes of the Chalentian expanse with the dynamic Tau Empire. Simple truce. So conservative is kin society, that as a race these creatures truism and idioms are idioms that have found universal acceptance among them. The kin call these their truths and treat them as articles of sincere good good sense that are loaded with more nuance and meaning than that is immediately apparent. The most common of these is the frequent kin saying, "The ancestors are watching," which often doubles as a battle cry. One interpretation of this truth is that all the generations who have gone before are judging the deeds of the living kin, who must strive their hardest to live up to those who came before. Yet equally, thus, truth can remind the kin that their ancestors live on in every new generation, and that they are never alone while their forebears stand by them. There are many other truths, from describing worthless objects or foolish schemes as a prize for an orc, to encompass the depths of their race. Spacefaring powers in the simple statement, "The void is in our veins," like the kin themselves. To outsiders, the truth seems uncompleted and direct, yet in reality they are far more complex. Alright, well, I think that'll be all for today, and we're just going to keep reading through this book little by little. Thanks for watching. Oops, wrong button. Still the wrong button. There we go. Give you a round of applause. Thanks for listening, and hope to see you in the next one.